Bismillah wa alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Welcome to one and all two Call to Guidance with your host Yunus Kawanga, coming live from the Salam Media Studios in Johannesburg, Robocham. Alhamdulillah, it's another beautiful Thursday evening as we prepare ourselves spiritually, mentally, and physically so for the beautiful day that is to come, which is the day of Jum'ah, inshallah ta'ala. But at the same time, we need to go through certain topics and certain themes that we have to discuss. And one of them, which obviously our show is all about, is da'wah. And da'wah, once again, to try and define it to people, is the calling towards the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the calling towards deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is obviously the supreme deen, inshallah. Ameen. And on this, inshallah, the first discussion will be with Brother Abdullah, all the way from Lithabile in the northwest, in close to Brits. But he's actually originally from Brits, but he does bounce back and forth in Lithabile. Mashallah, very good da'i. He has a lot of dawah programs in street dawah, masajid, etc. And he also is the co-founder of the Nurul Huda organization, which is also established in Lithabile, Alhamdulillah, which they have managed to build their own masjid from the ground. Subhanallah. And just a week ago, they were celebrating the Imam's nikah, mashallah, Imam Maulana Ismail from Lichtenberg, mashallah, tabarak wa ta'ala. And we'll be discussing, inshallah, the Damonsville Dawah program, which is going to happen this coming Sunday, inshallah. And later on, inshallah, join me as I speak to a very good friend of mine, Maulana Tulani Ghulam Mufokeng, on speaking about the whole concept of dawah and the dynamics of why is Islam still slanted in South Africa in 21st century, where we are supposed to see at least about 20% of Muslims. We only have about 3% of the population which are Muslim. A very staggering statistic there. And we need really to ask questions that how come is this happening? What are we doing wrong, inshallah? However, to start the program, inshallah ta'ala, Brother Abdullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to the show.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair for having me, akhi.
No, barakallah feek. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Now, the last few times we spoke about the Damonsville Dawah programs that we always have. And
Yes, sir.
I think just to put everyone in the loop, inshallah, of what do we have in store in terms of the Dawah program itself and why Damonsville and not other communities which are around that place, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. So basically Damonsville has been the like you mentioned before, it's been a project that we've been working on. And alhamdulillah, from the time we started till now, alhamdulillah, for the past I would say about 6 weeks, we've been having like weekly sessions where we just have sittings and discussing about Islam, inviting obviously the non-Muslim brothers around you. Alhamdulillah, so far here there's like two brothers in the place that are Muslim. Alhamdulillah. So we're using one brother's house as a base, and we just having like sessions, Q&As. Like just a normal talk for the guys, for the boys.
No,
So
mashallah.
Damonsville specifically because it's close to home, man. Because this is where I grew up. Yeah, believe it or not, this is where I grew up. So alhamdulillah, there's been things that has happened in the past personally that has affected me. One of it, I would say, I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but yeah, inshallah. So basically, a few years ago, I think it was about 3 years, 4 years ago,
Mm,
I was in KZN, right? So
no.
I had a dream. Subhanallah, it was very weird. I had a dream about this place, right?
No.
And while I was in KZN, I had no intention of coming back to Brits at all. I told
Subhan.
myself, this is it. I'm not coming back to Brits. I'm gonna be here. So I had a dream. I was in the streets, right? And there were like
Mm,
missiles or like balls of fire coming from the mountainside. Like I don't know. I
subhanallah.
would say like missiles. I don't know what it is. Like balls of fire coming. So we were like running, like trying to get away. And then when I looked back, I say, Subhanallah, a lot of people are behind me, like
Mm,
a lot. And wherever I'm going, they're going. So I relate this to one of the brothers I was with, and Akhi was telling me, "Hey, Akhi, I don't know, you're gonna have to go back."
subhanallah.
From his interpretation, I'm like, "What you talking about, man? Just leave this thing." And Alhamdulillah, today we're here. Alhamdulillah.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, So that's what we call inspiration through dreams. Subhanallah. Now, obviously,
Yeah.
another amazing point there, referring back to the dream point, is that I've met, I think, a quarter of the people I've met who embraced Deen told me that before they embraced Deen, it was through dreams that they
Yeah.
were guided to Islam. And subhanallah, it's just amazing
Yeah.
encounters that they have with, you can call it obviously as a ilham, inspiration from Allah. At the same time,
No.
we can, you can just say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was showing them the way in a very
Alhamdulillah.
subhanallah, amazing way. But also at the
Yeah.
same time, now we're talking back to Damonsville. Now, how has it been from the inception, the first program until now? This is, I think, should be about the fourth program you're having there.
Yeah.
And
Somewhere,
how
somewhere
many,
around there.
somewhere around that? Then how has
Yeah.
the improvement in terms of the spread of Dean have been? Of course, I know at the end of the day we don't do the numbers, but just trying to
No.
see how far you've come, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. So basically, the first time, there were about two brothers that took Shahada.
Hmm.
On the first attempt, Alhamdulillah. And I think they moved from here now. I don't they're not around here anymore.
Hmm.
And then from there, we've just been relaying the message, like basically just teaching. And Alhamdulillah, like we spoke last time, one of my closest friends became Muslim also. Two of
Hmm.
them actually. So Alhamdulillah, this is where we set up base by the one brother's house.
Hmm. Mashallah.
And it's just been like receptive. The people are waiting for something. There is
Hmm.
something big. There is something big, inshallah.
Mashallah.
And so far, I would say like a total of what, 5, 7, and there's one other brother that keeps on joining us. Like even for Salah, he hasn't taken his shahada yet, but he's like constantly with us.
No, mashallah, that's very good. I mean,
So
it,
Alhamdulillah.
it kind of reminds me of, yeah, salam. The one Sahabi, subhanallah, he didn't
No,
embrace Islam, but he was living among the Muslims. I think that it was Sufyan bin Umayyah. Yeah, Sufyan
no,
bin Umayyah. So he was among the Muslims for quite a while, a long time, subhanallah. And
yeah,
then only like after a while, that's when he embraced Islam, because then it
no,
had settled. But again, once again, that's the most important thing here. Again, we go back to is that it's not the word that brings a person to a deen; it's actually the character.
no, no,
So I
no,
think that's the best dawah.
100%.
Now, in
No.
terms of plans of setting up, for example, like a masjid, musalla in Damonsville, are there any plans, inshallah?
Alhamdulillah, there are plans, there are discussions. Alhamdulillah, there's one marhum uncle. He gave
Mashallah.
he basically donated his property to the Brits Muslim Jamaat in
Subhanallah.
town. The brothers are in town. So the one Mulana I was speaking to him the other day, Mulana Ismail Jina. So he
Mm,
told me, inshallah, we can put up something in Damazwa. So
mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, I went out to check the place, and there's still people staying there, but just to make like a small anyana something, inshallah, just to have a
Right,
base
right.
where we can work from, inshallah. So inshallah, definitely in the new year there'll be something, inshallah.
No, inshallah, most definitely, man. And once you start with the infrastructure, the beginning, or maybe the
No,
foundation, then the Muslims will see that, hey, something is coming up. Let me also get some
no,
blessings, thawab for the akhirah, inshallah. Then they
no,
come through, inshallah.
no.
I mean, that's the most important thing, having a base. Because one thing is that, subhanallah, we've seen this happening even in Lekhabile, that people at the
Yeah, yeah,
beginning, they don't really take it to head. They're like, these guys are just playing around. Once they see
yeah,
actually
yeah,
the
yeah,
structure coming up, then they'll be like, hey, these guys are serious. May Allah subhanahu wa
yeah,
ta'ala
yeah,
bless
yeah.
you all. It's
Amen.
amazing work that you guys are
Amen.
doing. That's it. Allahu Akbar. Now, so can you
Mm.
just take us through also the other programs that you hold besides the one in Damonsville? If there's any other programs that other brothers and sisters would love to join, inshallah.
Currently, we don't have any. There'll be just a open day for our madrasa in Letabile on
Hmm.
the 14th, inshallah, of Jan. That's the closest program that there is, and then obviously the madrasa will be opening on the Monday
Hmm.
of the 14th. So I think the 16th. So the
Hmm.
open day, inshallah, we're planning to have like all the parents there, all the kids there, because
Right.
we were thinking to have like a year end jalsa, for madrasa kids, and we just decided no, let's not have a jalsa. Let's rather have a open day for the next year and just hit the road running next year, inshallah.
No, inshallah,
So
most
inshallah, that's
definitely.
what we'll do when all the kids are back from the holidays and they
No.
are played out, and then we
Mm.
just come in and like set up everything so they can be fresh for the new year, inshallah. Yeah,
MashaAllah.
that's the closest basically of programs that we have, and then obviously the pre-Ramadan program also that will be coming up. I think it's in Feb,
Inshallah.
pre-Ramadan program for the preps, because now it's like less than how many days now? I think less than 90
Wow.
days.
Yeah, we have about
Yeah,
90 or so, subhanAllah.
yeah,
It's
around there.
amazing how time really flies because I can still
Yeah,
remember the
yeah,
last program we had just before
yeah,
Ramadan
yeah.
also. And
No.
subhanallah. Now, also, in this other points, as you guys are busy, that said, subhanallah, we've been seeing your progress on Facebook, etc. How do we now encourage other people who have a small group of Muslims in their communities, but they want to try and give da'wah, try and inshallah find a space to establish a small musalla, etc. How do you encourage them, inshallah, to get it going, inshallah?
Yeah. Subhanallah. Okay. You see, I've been reflecting about this thing like for the past, I don't know, past week or two.
Hmm.
So basically, to establish something, we need sincerity.
Right.
We need sincerity. If that is lacking there, we're gonna have big problem. Because now, for an example, people must understand that when a request is made for contributions,
Hmm.
it's not a matter of the thing is not gonna happen if someone don't give anything.
Hmm.
Understand? The thing is still gonna happen. Allah is gonna make it happen. So I would
100%.
encourage anyone who has the thing to be sincere first, right? And then after that, just go out and meet Muslims. Like how the hiking was, alhamdulillah. Muslims came together. Next we know maybe we might go to Mabopani, next we might go to Soshanguve, and like that we're learning, we're traveling, we're moving, we're seeing new Muslims. So in that way, that's how we can connect. But sincerity is the most important thing, because
Hmm.
to move also you need the money, right? Or like
100%.
the funds or something. You need some physical, I don't know. But
Right.
if the sincerity is there, that physical something is gonna come. And whoever contributes, alhamdulillah, it's for their own good. Whoever
Hmm.
doesn't contribute, they'll be missing out. And how do you know? Because nowadays, like our the funders and like the Owens, they're scared of contributing. Why?
Hmm.
Because maybe they've been scammed and that brother and this community and that fitna and this. But how do we now determine that this brother or this organization or this individual or this specific movement
Hmm.
is not gonna just waste my money? How do we see
Right.
that? When they asked you the first time, you did not contribute, but it still happened.
Hmm.
They asked you a second time, there's something happening. They asked you, you didn't contribute, it still happened. So if you
Right.
see this constant progress, this constant something happening, then that must mean something. It's
Right.
not a matter of it's just a matter of sincerity. So us as the people in Dawa, we need the funds, we need the funding, because most of the thing happens through that. But that funding is not gonna come if there's no sincerity. So
100%.
inshallah, that's just inshallah one of the things that I've been just thinking about.
Sure. Subhanallah. As you're speaking, some days we were trying to have a program, and
No,
there were no funds. Subhanallah, there were no funds, and the brothers were like ready to move. Then we just said, you know what?
yeah,
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always opens up when the sincerity is there. So we just had to
for sure.
cleanse our
Mm,
sincerity.
mm,
Subhanallah.
mm.
Actually, it's for this past weekend's hike. Subhanallah. I just need to
Alhamdulillah.
mention that. So our big
Alhamdulillah.
contributors, they decided to go for a nikah somewhere. So what we did, mashallah, the Joburg
Alhamdulillah.
Dawah Center, mashallah, the brother Imran Khan, who's always one of my guests. Unfortunately, he's going to fight with me for mentioning his name, but we just have to, sometimes, you have to give credit where it's due. Subhanallah, he did assist with funds to get the program going, with the foods and the entrance
No,
fees, and
sure,
the
for sure,
drinks and
for
the
sure,
snacks
for
and
sure.
stuff. So it's
Yeah,
always one of those things, I believe, that they do really come to inhibit our programs and our
for
track.
sure.
because I mean,
For
if there's
sure.
no funds, unfortunately, the program cannot go on. But at the same time,
Mm.
we do not make the funds our main focus.
No,
Sometimes you just have to
100%.
take whatever you have, then Bismillah, you carry on.
Yeah.
But
No,
inshallah, let's really have that sincerity again you spoke of. It's really needed,
no,
where we need to now start
100%.
working for the sake of Allah, inshallah. We'll get them in.
Yeah.
But again, those are the
Inshallah.
Muslim brothers and sisters around who are really willing to learn. I think brothers from the Tabile and Brits will not kick you out, will not chase you away if you want to learn how to try and do it with the guys who actually have a lot of experience. And
Yeah.
Bismillah, people are ready, but we just
Bismillah.
have to. Naam,
Anyone who is ready for this weekend, Bismillah.
Bismillah.
Any brother, any community, any pull in, come through. Let's flood this place, inshallah. Tufanul Damonsville,
No, Bismillah.
inshallah.
Bismillah. Damonsville, we're there inshallah this weekend, and we really need to have, like when you go for Jama to make tashkil. Now we're making tashkil for the
No, no,
brothers,
making
inshallah, to
tashkil.
come through for the Dawah program that will be
Alhamdulillah.
taking place in Damonsville this weekend from on the 24th of December, Sunday, from 10:30
No, no, no,
a.m. to 5 p.m. inshallah. Now,
no.
I'm just checking your topics that you have here. You mentioned before, but just to give us a breakdown again of why these specific questions have been collated, inshallah.
So basically, the first question is, what is Islam? Obviously, people want to know, what is Islam? Ntho e ke ya makula ore ho iralang ka yona, cause nna
Right.
re bona makula fela mo yone le na le tsena kere ka makula. But anyway, it's not that's the first question that people have. What is Islam? What is Islam? What is this Islam? Why? So inshallah, that's the first thing that obviously they'll ask, what from our experience, right? And then after knowing what is Islam, they'll have to know who's the Muslims. And then the hot topic is Jesus in Islam. That
Mm.
one is the cream of the crop. But alhamdulillah, we've done our bit of studying in that field. But alhamdulillah, and then social ills and its dangers. Hey, subhanallah, this one, akhi.
Mm.
Yeah, Rab. So you, I'm sure you've seen through my statuses this week. I've been like heavy on nikah and marriage and this type
No.
of thing. Last week we spoke about something that is all inclusive, Muslim and non-Muslim. And you remember we mentioned something about marriage. So this thing is a thing that doesn't have a religion. Marriage is not about being Muslim or being Christian or being what or what or what or what. Marriage is marriage.
Right.
Right. So it is something that is performed by everyone. So inshallah, once we touch issues like this, like social ills like this, teenage pregnancies and mojolo and all these things, and then and then the last one is salvation in Islam. So
Mm.
people obviously want to know, okay, well, after I become Muslim, what's going to happen then? Um, will I see paradise, or will I? What's the
Mm.
story? What do you guys do? So, now, inshallah, these are the topics that we'll be covering. And inshallah, the first two, I'm sure people are pretty much aware of the
No.
Muslims now. I
No.
think
No.
I think they've seen enough of us. They have some kind of idea.
Right.
So inshallah, we'll see what is presented to us, because obviously it's street hour. You have to play ball. You can't go with a script,
No.
because
100%.
they'll flip the script and then what?
Mm,
So
mm, mm, mm,
inshallah,
mm.
we'll play ball, inshallah.
Inshallah. No, actually, it's amazing because I was with someone this weekend who told me something which was quite interesting. And this is an alim, and he said he attended one of the Dawah programs, and he said he learned more than the other person. It's like one of those
Aha.
things that yeah, and
Ah.
it's not for them. More so
Yeah,
importantly,
yeah,
also
yeah,
it's for us.
for
To
sure.
try and bring us back
Get
on
the
that
material.
realization that what, Deen is amazing, and we learn a lot just by seeing how
100%.
people are open to accepting a deen like
Yeah.
Islam and opening their minds and
No,
hearts to the truth, mashallah. So,
no.
again, for those who are interested in coming in, do not feel like, one of the things also we need to advise is that people shouldn't come with that holier than thou type of attitude. Uh, because one amazing one quote that I remember of Sheikh Hassan al Basri rahimahullah was that He said that everyone is better than me, has a potential of being better. A non-Muslim has a potential of
Yeah,
being better. And
for
by the
sure.
moment they embrace Deen, they can be 10 or 100 times better than who you are. So do not
For
look
sure.
at person down on a person, inshallah. But you must always,
Yeah.
encourage to be better, inshallah. Okay.
No, no,
Now,
no.
that's inshallah what's going to happen this weekend. Jazakumullah khairah. We really appreciate having you every time. And inshallah, I will be around Pretoria this weekend. So inshallah, we'll try and
Inshallah,
come
to
through
be better.
with the brothers from our side, just to also,
Inshallah.
we're not there as dais. We are there as actually people who are going to be listening to the call and trying to put some 2 cent and inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala
Inshallah.
accept all your
Inshallah.
work, and may Allah
Ameen,
subhanahu wa
ameen.
ta'ala make it a means of salvation. The last point that you put there, may make it a salvation of all the brothers from the Tabila Breads and the surrounding areas, and most importantly, the brothers in Damonsville. And
Ameen.
we'd love to see such work being done on the ground, and it would really be nice to actually experience it firsthand, inshallah ta'ala. All right. Jazakallah khair.
No.
Assalamu
Akhi,
alaikum
can
wa
you hear me?
rahmatullah. Naam, I can hear you. What's happening? The network is
Okay.
breaking
Yeah,
again.
you were cutting. Yeah, you were cutting there for a while.
No,
Alhamdulillah,
just saying,
alhamdulillah.
Jazakumullah khair. Jazakallah.
Ameen.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. That brings us to the end of the first segment. Inshallah, we'll be taking a break. And when we come back, like I mentioned before, we'll be discussing the dynamics of da'wah with Maulana Tulani Gulam Mufokeng. And we'll be looking into the depth of why are we still stagnant as a Muslim community in South Africa. We see some improvements, alhamdulillah, like we've seen with Brother Abdullah and the rest of the team in Lethabili, how they are trying to do a lot of work of da'wah. But at the same time, we are still struggling on that 3% of the population of South Africa. Subhanallah. Now, that is a really big, I can say that it's a really a big issue, and we really need to sort it out, inshallah ta'ala. So when we come back from the break, we'll be discussing that with Maulana Tulani Ghulam Mufokeng, inshallah. Stay tuned.